This is Bahamas drill journalist, and here we have a list of some of the most dangerous wanted criminals from the Bahamas. Here we take you guys into the Mede gang members, and we're here to share their stories. Picture a land with broken windows, dark abandoned buildings, no law and order, justice or peace. And then there are carefully demarcated deserted areas controlled by two rivals of armed gangsters. These two sets are fighting over this turf rubble nearly every night. There's sniper fire that sounds like Iraq at war, but in fact it's the so-called paradise and home to many tourists called the Bahamas. This country is a creature of state, local and federal government are the products of bad politics that failed to abide by policy, and these officials fail thus at neglect. It exists worldwide, but it's unseen except by those who live here. This nation and its land is a stone's throw away from some of the most valuable real estate. This is Nassau, our nation's largest city, and here are the story of some of the most notorious Mede gang members and where they originally grew up. In one of the roughest neighborhoods of north side of Nassau is a community called Englerston, also known as Border Block, which is located and surrounded between the areas of East Street North and Market Street North. This area is known for growing up such infamous musical killers turned rap stars and dangerous drug kingpins with vicious henchmen like Meko Coakley, referring to his relationship with some of the hitters of the Mede gang like Dogbite, Spider, and Ryder. But gang banging in that area started with guys such as Muggy, Mouche, Eyes, Rafi, and more, to be explained in another video. Meko Coakley, now a high supreme gangster, was a quiet but deadly devil disciple. Growing up, his life wasn't too bad for what it was. Although he didn't see his father due to him being in a single-parent home, being locked up on and off all through his early childhood. His mother and stepdad did their best to make sure he had what he needed. Coakley was an A and B student and even enjoyed playing basketball. Up until around high school, growing up around poverty and violence in north side of Nassau, we have learned that some of these men are very dangerous and consider a threat to the community. Wanted Meko Coakley, aka Mede, or Meko, is most famous for his gun being jammed on a hit to kill another notorious hitman by the name of Fire. Neighbors of that community made a citizen arrest after attacking Coakley for nearly hours until authorities arrived. Meko Mede Coakley grew up in the surrounded area of which the Mede gang alliance and Rome. But as Mede got older, some of the same surrounding parents, ex-classmates and civilian in the area which he resides notice a strange twist. When he started smoking marijuana, for some reason he stayed to himself and clicked up with a few fallen soldiers from his hood known as the Neighborhood Heroes. The trio was killed in a police shooting concerning an ambush at a funeral. On arrival, authorities spotted three males sitting in a white Honda, and one of the men opened fire on one of the police officers as he approached the vehicle cautiously. But Mede had all sorts of friends known to the justice system. Second on our list is wanted Mede gang member Romeo Cooper, aka Lil Ro. Lil Ro is the son of Romeo Cooper Sr. Romeo Sr. is better known as Big Roach. Roach is the businessman of the lounge sports bar that used to be located East Street. Lil Ro grew up in the same area as where he turned savage. He was more of a basketball star in his neighborhood. He started to witness murder, drug exchange, police brutality in the streets of the ghetto. Make sure like and subscribe. This is the story about the Mede Romeo Cooper, aka Lil Ro. It's almost always inevitable to get involved in trouble. It's easy to go on the block when you need to go to school. Although he denies ever being part of a gang in his younger years, he admits to taking an interest in the street life. Lil Ro's father would miss spending time with him and his grades would start to slip. He soon turned to crime himself, starting out just stealing bikes and other small things. But at the age of 15 he would catch his first case, unlawful carry of a knife. Unfortunately, it didn't stop there. He would spend time in juvenile detention twice before the age of 18 when he started selling pot. Most of his teenage years he wouldn't go more than 6 months without finding trouble with the law. At this time he didn't know these minor run-ins with the law would be small problems compared to what was coming ahead of him. While wanted on a midday of July 20th, northern side of Nassau, Lil Ro was injured in a double shooting that left his friend killed. Rumors are said it was retaliation due to a drug war. As Lil Ro was at Hay and Market Street, he was shot by a lone gunman in a vehicle that also fatally shot and killed Frantwion Lefty Newton in that same incident. Lil Ro and Lefty was having a conversation when the OPP spotted them on Dean's alleyway off Market Street. When the opposition doubled back and ambushed both males walking along Dean Street. Suddenly they heard gunshots. These tried to run but were chased by the shooter. The shooter was seen pulling out a black Taurus G3 9mm pistol and shooting the two men before fleeing the scene in a white Japanese vehicle. Lil Ro was on the floor crawling for his life as Lefty tried to hide inside of a car asking for help. A short time later, after a 48-hour investigation, authorities used CCTV surveillance to identify a suspect. Police have arrested and charged a 25-year-old male named Davino aka Kraft. Kraft was charged with the murder of Lefty and the attempted murder of Lil Ro. Vano, also known as Kraft, was also charged with possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger. Kraft was sent to prison and remanded at his initial court appearance October 31st. While Mr. Cooper recovered at the hospital, Mr. Newton, 23, was pronounced dead upon arrival at Princess Margaret Hospital. Before he was sent to prison, Kraft requested to be fitted with a monitoring device, so the Supreme Court grant him bail. Since then, Kraft is currently on bail. Since being released from the hospital, Lil Ro is suspected of a murder of Theo Williams, currently on the run as he is nowhere to be found. Lil Ro is placed on a wanted poster by authorities. Third on our list is Micah Johnson aka Micheal Myers, a known top general of the Mad Ass who is most feared among the older and younger generation of his environment. This general would get the nickname Micheal Myers from his cellmates who knew of his vicious acts. They said the way General Myers handled himself in the street reminded them of themselves. In 2017, General Micheal Myers was a wanted man after he was suspected of fatally shooting a man on the intersection of Blue Hill Road and Hay Street. It is said that young Myers took out Louis Gustav in broad daylight. He was quickly posted wanted for murder, soon arrested and charged. General Micheal Myers was then denied bail and remanded to prison. After spending 2 years on remand, his trial would come to an end. For the murder of Louis Gustav, Mr. Myers, or Michael, always was a creeper and he appears to spook people in his neighborhood. Rumors to be said that 4 hours after being released back into civilian life, wasting no time, General Micheal Myers had people inside of their homes by 8 o'clock. After being released, he began to taunt his enemies once again. Word on the streets: Micheal Myers was the alleged killer of the late Nassau terror named Ben Boy. Meanwhile, Micheal Myers, who didn't cooperate during his first murder charge in 2017 and would be acquitted of all charges, is once again a wanted man according to authorities. Myers is suspected of conspiracy for the murder of Theo Williams. Thank you for listening, guys. Make sure to sub and check out my other videos. Next up is some of the One Order gang members more in part.
She said, "Oh, 'cause I'm the truth." He said he done caught like two. I'm like, dying nothing new.